Welcome in. What's up? It is Wednesday. We are doing the live chat. I don't care if it's January, if it's April, or if it is September. Someone is going to win a golf tournament. Rory McIlroy is playing this week, not on the PGA Tour, but there's a lot of golf happening worldwide, and I am here for it. Welcome in. This time is yours. It's questions, concerns, and comments. Throw them in the chat right now. We'll go through as many as possible, and based on the number of comments or lack thereof that we have right now, this might not take the whole hour. I'm happy to sit here for however long it takes, but get those rocking and rolling right now. We'll have a little bit of fun along the way. All right. So we normally start these shows with a couple of items. Let's continue. We're going to start with the weather, which if you are looking at the forecast, this is the 10-day. Yeah, this is what golf in California is supposed to look like. Mid to upper 80s, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then a bit of relief on Sunday, about 77 degrees, and the wind, not only low, never really getting more than 10 miles an hour throughout the week, but also consistent. So you're seeing just that little bump in the afternoon, little bump in the afternoon, little bump in the afternoon, little bump in the afternoon. This is as clean as it gets in terms of forecast. There is not a drop of weather being forecasted right now. Excuse me, I should say of precipitation. And I don't think that there is much of a wave advantage here because it looks super, super clean. So we should have no problem getting this full field event in with a cut. Absolutely love to see it. And then you might not have a one and done pick this week. You might have to use different rules. I actually don't have a one and done for this week, but I'll show you the projected ownership anyway. Sahith Theegala, no surprise, catching the highest rate here, about 23% selected across officefootballpool.com, which is now Splash Sports. Also Run Your Pool. All of that is now Splash Sports. Max Homa is next, 17.5%. A little bit surprised to see that number. I understand the course history, but the recent form has not been very good. Then you get Eric Cole at 15.5, Matt McNeely at 12.6. Where's Wyndham? 7.8, the same rate as Minwoo Lee. That feels like an opportunity to me. I understand he doesn't have nearly the history as some of these other guys, but listen, much better player now than he was the last time he played in Napa. Speaking of Splash Sports, I'm going to point this out right now because it would behoove you to jump into the Listener League for this week. Now, these have been fully guaranteed for the entirety of 2024. Does that sound about right? And we've grown it up. We got it up to a pretty massive one at the BMW Championship. Much smaller now for the fall with the football events going on, but there is no way this thing fills, I think we are going to get an overlay here. We are not even at the halfway point, and it's Wednesday. So if you want some good value, I'm probably going to throw some more entries into this because no matter how many people get in, it's paying out the full amount. So it's $20, $6.75 up top, and we are not even halfway full. So would like to see that at least get closer because that helps us get those things ratcheted up for future weeks. But now would be a really good time to take advantage of that overlay because it looks like there is going to be one. The link for that and everything that you need is in the description. Go check it out. All right, let's get into this. JR says, hi, Rick. In a fall swing one and done, are there any golfers to save for specific tourneys? Tempted to go with lower owned, but is it a wasted opportunity not to use Clark or Sahith? Any ideas for fall one and done? All right, well, let's think about this kind of logically here. I believe there are 8 events. Off the top of my head, we don't know who's necessarily going to play them, but it's going to be guys that are generally outside of the top 50 in the FedEx Cup standings. And then you might get a couple of guys like this week, for example, where you're getting a couple of guys who just like to play events. So we've got Zozo, we've got Vegas. Let's go there. We've got a really good course history in Vegas, right? So if we go to TPC Summerlin, and of course, we are going to have to remove people from this field here. So guys that you could conceivably save for TPC Summerlin, Adam Hadwin might be a good option. Tony Finau, if he ends up playing there, might be a good option. Russell Henley, if he tees it up there, would be a good option. Okay, so that would be a short list. We're going to get the BlackRock Championship. That's a new event, so there's not going to be anything there. Where are they playing the Zozo? Is it Accordia again? They probably don't have anybody that has 24 rounds. That is a much newer event. Do we have anybody with 8? Yeah, there we go. So probably just chalking up Hideki there. If you don't want to use Hideki, Morikawa usually goes over there. And again, if you're only having to use eight players, you should be willing to rock those guys out. What else do we have? We've got Bermuda. We've got Sanderson Farms, which would be Jackson. Jackson, Country Club of Jackson. I'm not really willing to go with Cameron Champ. I'm trying to think. Keegan Bradley might be a good option there. Christian Bezadenhout. Sung Jae, if he goes back. So again, maybe a little bit of a short list. Sam Burns, I don't know if he's going to go back to Jackson. Probably not, but that might be a little bit helpful for you. Are you interested in unknown John Kiefer, or is he someone to wait and see? So John Kiefer's deal is this. Went to Baylor. He is now a professional. He has been running rampant through PGA Tour Americas, which if that doesn't sound familiar to you, there used to be 2 separate tours. There used to be the Canadian Tour and the Latino America Tour. I think after COVID, when they brought those back, they combined them into one tour. So they do like half the season in Canada, half the season in Latin America. Okay. And it's called PGA Tour Americas. In 10 starts, he's got a win, a bunch of podium finishes. He's been very, very good. I believe that's how he got into this event, is he won their Fortinet Cup or something like that, and then got entry into this event. It is still a big jump from even the Korn Ferry Tour to this level of an event on the PGA Tour. But to go from PGA Tour Americas straight to this event, I'm cautiously optimistic here. I think he's got plenty of game. I think that this is a golf course that could set up somewhat reasonably well for him, but I would not be investing everything in John Kiefer right now. Deep dive on Blaine Hale, asks Bob Hale. Bob, are you like his dad? I don't know if I'm going to get you something that you really want to see here, because I don't think it's great from Blaine. Let's get, I don't want to lose my cheat sheet though. This is my website, rickrungood.com. You probably could have guessed that and figured this out at some point. So his last 4 events on the PGA Tour were all missed cuts. He did go back and play on the Korn Ferry after the Wyndham Championship. He finished T30 there. It has not been good on the PGA Tour. In fact, I'm not sure he has a made cut. No, that's wrong. He's made the cut at Rocket Mortgage and John Deere. If we look at this statistically, there is improvement in the advanced metrics. I'll give him that. He's picked up strokes on approach in 4 out of his last 5, which is by far better than anything he did earlier in the year. The putter has got, but the advanced metrics are trending. They are still not really and you can see that in his last 100 rounds here. They are trending, but they're not really where we would want to see them. So we'll continue to keep an eye on Blaine there, Bob. And tell your son I said hello. Welcome back from vacation. Rick was wondering why the power ratings and trend rankings are exactly the same. Yeah, I think I fixed this. I was tinkering with the calculations. That's on me. I got a little bit out over my skis during the week off, and I was messing with some calculations, but it should be back to normal now. So thanks for the heads up. Can we look at Minwoo Lee's finishes when he is able to gain strokes on approach? Of course we can. Minwoo Lee. I feel like he could, if he could ever figure out the second shot, it would be what happened to Wyndham Clark all over again. Yeah, that's a pretty good call. Really great driver, very good putter, sound around the green, and just that second shot that really gives him trouble, which is interesting, right? You don't usually see a guy who drives it so well kind of be this bad on the second shot. You know, why is it that when he gets an iron or a wedge in his hand, he's incapable of doing much? But the good news is you're probably right in the sense that if he ever does gain just a stroke, just 2 strokes a week on approach, he gets very good results. Here's him gaining 1.1, runner-up finish at the Rocket Mortgage. 1.7, that's a T24. Nearly a stroke, that's a T22. That was at the Masters. He gains 6 on approach. That's going to be a big one. Finishes runner-up at the Cognizant, right? So he does, and then you look at weeks where he doesn't really have any good finishes where he does not gain on approach. So this has got to be one of the things that he really, really hammers down and figures out over the course of his off season and heading into, still only 26 years old, has plenty of time to figure this out. But that is the thing that will unlock a lot of his game. If I was buying stock in players, Minwoo Lee would probably be one of the guys I'd be buying a lot of stock in. Rick, how's your golf game going? Any new trips or courses coming up? Well, thanks for asking. I'm in the midst of some of the best golf of my life. It's coming with a lot of hard work. I've been taking lessons. I've been, working hard. I'm down to a 4.5, which is the lowest I've ever been handicap wise. I shot the best round I ever shot, 72 a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I think I'm now like 8 or 9 rounds in a row in the 80s, which I've never done before. By far the longest streak I've ever had. I'm keeping it in play off the tee. I'm chipping it a little bit better, and my distance control and my second shots have been really, really good and a lot better. So it's all coming together. Did I say in the 80s? Armina says I meant in the 70s. So I've broken 80 for like seven or 8 straight events in a row. So it's been really good there. And coming up, well, I'm taking my clubs to Montreal for the President's Cup. So I'll find some golf to play there, it seems like. And then we are going to Australia next month, where I've got a couple of rounds lined up. So it's a really, really good, really good stretch for me coming up here. A couple of things from Monday. Connors and Spawn rank high in your power rankings and fit, and we're at the top of your model. Why no love? Well, I will say this. JJ Spawn is probably the guy that I have grown the most on this week. Corey Connors, I think, is fine. A golf course that rewards, accuracy over distance, which I think Silverado certainly fits that mold. You can see oftentimes the missed fairway penalty is worse than the reward for hitting a long drive. So I think that's good. And Corey Connors and JJ Spawn, like you said, both rank highly in the fit. Corey Connors just always seems to be too expensive for a guy who doesn't win as much as he should. JJ Spawn, on the other hand, very, very good as of late. Look at this going back to the Rocket Mortgage, and you can just see this visually a couple of different ways. These are fantasy point performances. I mean, he is putting up at least 90 fantasy points in 6 straight starts. And what does that look like in terms of advanced metrics? Well, he has not lost strokes on approach since the Valspar, and in his last 5, he's picked up at least 4 strokes on approach in all of those. Just absolute flush. And then if you look at the rest of his bag, you're not seeing many flaws there. The only concern is almost like, excuse me, can he continue this, with the layoff since the Wyndham? He hasn't played in, when was the Wyndham? A month ago? 3 weeks ago, a month ago, something like that. And his results around Napa have been a mixed bag. He had some really good results I'm actually not sorted well. Had a really good result in 2023, a really good result in 2020, and then a mixed bag outside of that. But no, JJ is certainly one of the guys that is and has grown on me as the week's gone on. And then there's a follow-up question that says, there was a gap in the mid to low 7K range. I submit a potential deep dive in Ben Coles. Okay. I like Ben Coles' game, but let's see what he's been up to as of late. And I want to look at see who else he is around. You said the mid to low 7,000. So we are right here, 7,200. So he's kind of in that Pearson Cootie, Webb Simpson, Lee Hodges, Adam Schenk, Taylor Montgomery range. Okay. So knowing that, let's see what we've got going on. Makes the cut at the win, or misses the cut at the window, but he misses it on the number. Not a big deal. That was his first missed cut since the Charles Schwab. Approach play is good. Putting is very good. Has he played in Napa before? He has, but it was 2021. I don't even think he had his PGA Tour card there. Might have Monday qualified, missed the cut, or got in through some other type of exemption. I think there's no real reason to feel any differently about Ben Coles. If you were bullish on Ben Coles prior, you probably should still be. If you were not playing Ben Coles, there's probably nothing that has changed that is going to influence you to flip sides. I skew more bullish just because I like his game, and I know the talent is there, and he had a really good Corn Ferry Tour year, and now he's going to embark on, I know it's not technically the second season, but it's going to feel like the second season on the PGA Tour. He's going to feel like a little bit of a veteran when he tees it up the next couple of weeks. So yeah, I'm staying on the bullish side here. Chris says, hello, Rick. Thanks for everything. Can you possibly make a model? Oh, Chris, you don't have to. So Chris gave a big super chat, which is always appreciated, never required. Oh, thanks, Chris. Says, can you possibly make a model with 25% total driving, 25% in the 150 bucket, 25 putting, possibly bent, and another 25 of your opinion. All right. So custom model here. RickRunGood.com. I've got the other fields loaded in as well. I've not seen DraftKings salaries for Live yet. The field is loaded in. Haven't seen salaries come through unless they just came through while I'm on this show. We've got the Irish Open in here. Those salaries are out. So, you can see Rory leads the way. He's 11,600. Shane Lowry's 10,600. All these stats are in here for DP and for Live and Corn Ferry and all that fun stuff. But let's get back to the Procore. So, let's do, there's been a little bit of an off season for some of these guys because a lot of them haven't played in the playoffs. So I'm going to skew a little bit longer term, say 50 rounds for some of these. But we'll do Chris's here. So we've got 25 on total driving, 25 on approach for I'm assuming 125 to 150, Chris, is what I'm assuming. I'll go there. 25 on putting on bent is what he wants. And 25 on whatever I want. I'm going to say course history. And 25 is a lot to put on course history, but you said whatever I want. And I think this is a pretty sticky one. So we are going to go with Silverado right here. So that makes Chris's model number 1, Brendan Todd. Sahith is number 2. Ryan Moore is 3. Daniel Berger's 4. Lauer's 5. McNeely, Corey Connors, Andrew Putnam, Adam Svensson, and Taylor Montgomery. Oh boy, it sure is the Procore Championship. It's going to be really hard for me to say that. Feels like the Fortinet. Feels like the Safeway, honestly. I hope you enjoyed the long break, says Greg. Who is the producer's play of the week? And please tap the like button, everybody. Yes, so she has told me, and she is here. She's right behind me, but she has already told me that it is CT Pan because she's cooking all day today. And I said, well, if you're cooking, why didn't you pick Minwoo Lee? And then I sent her the chef's hat thing and all that stuff, and she didn't budge. So she is rolling with CT Pan. Hey, Rick, thinking ahead a little, any advancements for season-long leagues coming up, or are we stuck with fan tracks? There's a chance 2020, realistically, 2026 is probably more realistic. There's a chance something comes out in 2025. There's a lot of issues. Mostly in the space of getting people to the issue of getting people to play with strangers, right? Season-long fantasy football leagues have always usually just been your buddies. What we have found and what I found is that there's not a lot of fantasy golf leagues that have been going on with your buddies. So almost everybody is playing with strangers on the internet. So when fantasy football went to the internet, all your buddies just went to the internet. Well, there's not been any issue filling leagues that I play in, but getting people to play with others, like play with 9 strangers, has been more difficult. I don't want to play in 300 leagues. I did that last year. It didn't work out well for me. So there's got to be a place where people can play with strangers, which is not hard, but then there's also the part of getting everybody to pay up front. Well, now you're starting to talk about holding money. I don't want to hold the money. Getting a third party to hold the money costs money. Then you're talking about regulatory stuff, legal stuff. When you start holding money, are you taking a cut of it? Should you take a cut of it? I don't want to take a cut of it. I don't need to take a cut of it, but still holding it presents a lot of issues. So it's a very complex problem that has a slow solution to it. Can we get a deep dive and course history for Webb Simpson? Of course we can. Webb is essentially at this point retired, semi-retired, I think is the way that he phrases it. So he plays a handful of times a year. It starts to get a little bit concerning when Webb goes to Wyndham and misses the cut. That's a problem. So now he only played twice since. Well, I'll just lump in. Well, okay, I'll just lump in all 4 of these. So 4 times from June on. U.S. Open as past champion status. Travelers, he made the cut, finished T48, missed the cut at the Rocket Mortgage, missed the cut at the Wyndham. Has been consistently losing strokes on approach, which is going to be a problem here and everywhere. Is very, very good around the greens, but probably not going to be very helpful this week. I can't believe I'm not showing my screen. Sorry about that. Very, very good around the greens. Probably not going to matter. Putter's been hit or miss, which is shocking for Webb. I don't even know what the course history is, and I could probably throw it out the window. It's not even that good. 2 missed cuts in a row, T30, 2 more missed cuts before that, a T17 thrown in. Even 2 years ago, I would have said, 4 years ago, I would have said Webb's a top 10 player in the world. 2 years ago, I would say you can still play Webb, but it needs to be at the RSM Classic. It needs to be at the Wyndham. It needs to be at Phoenix. It needs to be at Webb spots, RBC Heritage. It needs to be at those places. Now I'm not even sure Webb's playable anymore. Just because there's just no way to tell if he's ever going to play well. And he might not. He just might not. He might not play well. He had one top 20 last year. No, he had no top 20s last year. His last top 20 was the Wyndham of 2023, which was over a year ago. So I think we're pretty far removed from that. Hey, Rick, I was using Pro Visualizer to map out Royal County down. Sick. Next level stuff. Thanks for the rec. Yeah, it's awesome. Betting card for this week. So Mina's going with CT Pan. My betting card for this week, and I'll remind you as usual, don't bet who I bet. Go bet whoever you want. Go do whatever you want. I've made a couple of bets across the board. For Napa, Eric Cole at 35-1 and Chan Kim at 60, I believe. Yeah, 60. Chan Kim has been, I mean, I'll pull up his stat profile just so we can do a little bit of a deep dive while we're at it here. Chan Kim has been one of the best players on tour since the John Deere. Now he's been beating up against weak fields. However, this is a weak field. Raw strokes gained, he's been great. A lot of great ball striking, good enough putting. This is a really good profile. Eric Cole, I'm just a sucker, but I still believe in what Eric Cole is doing. I think that after that slump in the middle of the year, he's starting to figure it out a lot more. I worry about the way he drives it, but I still feel like Eric Cole is very much on the verge. So those are the two Procore bets. On the Irish side, I bet Thriston Lawrence at 30-1, Frederick Ketterup at 110-1, Rasmus Niergaard Peterson at 110-1. That rounds out my Irish Open card. And then I bet Team Torque. Torque, although I think if you're actually supposed to pronounce it right, you're supposed to call it Torque. At 6.5-1 to win the team event and Live Chicago. As long as Mito can play like not the worst player in the world, I think that they have a chance there. I have not bet an individual in Chicago for Live, but if you made me choose right now, I always think the number on Brooks is like way too long. I always think that. I think I saw he was like 16-1 still. Patrick Reed would be close to getting the click, but I think it's not good enough yet, but he's trending in the right direction. 9th in last 36 rounds in terms of total strokes gained. I would probably just bet Brooks, but I haven't done it yet. Fall swing has arrived. Can you do a deep dive on Joel Damon? Yeah, I thought it said full swing has arrived, and I was like, I don't think that's out yet. That's what I thought that said. So let's see what Joel Damon's been up to. It has been very not good. There's a lot of problems with this. There's a lot of problems. And it dates back to, honestly, the last 2 years. His last like really good stretch of golf ended at the RSM last year. So 2 years ago, 2022 RSM. And then since then, he has not been able to putt well. He at times has been a very, very good tee to green player. That is gone. Not gone, but certainly not as strong as it used to be. And he still can't putt. The results aren't there. I would say we have not gotten a good stretch from Joel Damon since the fall of 2022. Stinks, but that feels true. Any late one and done pools still open out there? If anybody knows, Zach, let us know. YouTube, message boards. Oh, really? Haven't been working. Whoops. I might have just disconnected something. I kicked the wire underneath my desk. YouTube, good. Yeah. YouTube message boards haven't been working for parts of the morning, so maybe people are having trouble posting still. That's interesting. Do you think there's any advantage for the golfers who played through the Tour Championship or those who got several week breaks? Josh, this is unfortunately one of the questions I could never answer. It depends on how those guys spent their time. It depends on if they were dragging towards the finish. There's not going to be a one size fits all answer to this question, which I'm sorry about. JB Holmes is in again. Cannot believe it. What is your prediction for salary distribution of the optimal lineup? I would not be surprised, and I rarely say this, but I really would not be surprised if there was not a 10K golfer in the optimal lineup. Of all weeks recently, this feels like the most 9K and below week. Sahith and Wyndham, incredibly volatile golfers. Wyndham's been more consistent, but you get what I'm saying here. Both spray it off the tee. You could get into trouble. I know that especially Sahith has had great success here, but you could see that going south, right? And then Max Homa, we can drudge it up if you want, but he's been horrible. I sent this out in my newsletter, that went out this morning, rickrungood.com/newsletter. He's been a completely different player since the Masters. He's been one of the worst players on tour since the Masters. Is it that crazy that none of those guys finish inside the top 15 and the optimal lineup just comes from 2 guys in the 9K? You could say 2 in the 8, a couple in the 7s, right? Like I think that's pretty conceivable. Of the following players, could you rank who you think is the best chance of winning outright? Okay, there's a lot of names here, so I think it is probably McNeely, Spawn, Hoey, Rogers, Thor, Bjornsson, Fishburne. Do we still get an underdog segment in the fall? I don't know, Michael. Do we still get an underdog segment in the fall? Woof, woof. Sure. My wife will bark in the fall. Why not? Actually, I'm going to do you one better. There you go. $1,000 deposit match, up to $1,000. They are taking this football thing very, very seriously. This is one of the things that I talked with them about at the Wyndham Championship. So they're doing a lot of like these gimme picks, right? CeeDee Lamb over a half a yard, total yards. But now they've got these tokens that you can use. I don't know if you've seen these, where you can make anything a gimme, or you can like multiply your stuff. They've got vulture protection, which I saw. I'm not going to get the names right, but I saw that some starting running back got vultured on a touchdown by the goal line. And I guess what they did was, I don't know if they give the starting running back like that prop wins, like a touchdown prop, or just like they refund you. I don't know. You can click it, but they're doing cool stuff like that as well. So there's a lot of NFL stuff in here, as you can imagine. I've been doing a lot of the MLB home run props, which I don't know how great those are, but they are incredibly fun. Corbin Carroll to hit a home run, and then Wyatt Langford to hit a home run, 45x like that. Like, yeah, like it's fun. Probably not great odds, but it's fun. For the PGA stuff this week, I am going to continue to pick on Max Homa. I think that is a good starting point. I mentioned it earlier, but it's just been uncharacteristically horrible for Max. It's not just one thing, it's everything. Also, the split with Mark Blackburn, I think, adds more unknowns to the situation. So I'm not sure where the turnaround is, other than, okay, he's had success here before and he needs to play well now. I'm not sure I fully buy that. So if you look at this, for him to make 5 birdies in round 1, you have to do things very correctly to make a birdie. You got to hit multiple good shots in a row. Homa has not been able to put multiple rounds together. He hasn't really been able to put multiple shots together. So I'm kind of fading Homa making 5 or more birdies here. So the lower on Homa 4.5 birdies certainly has my attention. Then there are some guys. I wish we were getting the hook on Wyndham Clark, which we're not. The good thing about, if you do think guys can make birdies, especially then you want to go for the par 5 guys. The par 5 guys, because there's 3 5s on the backside that are super gettable. You know, you could pair Homa with Clanton's higher than 4.5 birdies or better. Doesn't give you the full 3x payout, but I think it's interesting. If you do like the JJ Spawn multipliers, finish inside the top 5 is 2.88x, which gets you an 8.6x. If you like him to finish inside the top 10, that's not bad. If you like to finish inside the top 20, that gets you just a little bit more than that standard 3.0x. I think that's interesting. You don't have to put these all together, but I'll give you a couple more. Matt Kuchar's been great, and this is a really good golf course for him. Accuracy, not distance. And I hate to say it, but he's I don't know why I hate to say it. He just kind of annoys me, I guess. He's been really good. The approach numbers dating back to the Memorial are all very positive. We know what happened at the Wyndham, where he comes back on Monday like bozo and, you know, whatever. But he's been playing great golf. Lower than 70 strokes there feels pretty strong for Kuch, who also, I think he's got half decent history around this place. Let's check it out. Yeah, last year he finished T7, T12 the year before that, T36, miscut T21. So those are kind of the core places that I'm starting. And then, you know, might I pick on Keith Mitchell? Might I pick on Adam Svensson? Yes. Might I buy in on Eric Cole? Sure. But this is kind of where I'm starting with these 3. Homa lower than 4.5 birdies. JJ Spawn in some way. Maybe you like top 5, top 10, top 20. I'd probably go with the top 20. And then Matt Kuchar, lower than 70 strokes in round 1. Those 3 together are 6.93x. But I will tell you, when I get off here, I'm probably going to do this. I'll do one with you right now. Let's throw a little dart at a baseball game. So if I get off this at about 1 o'clock, oh, well, we could do the Arizona Texas game. I mean, well, I already clicked it. So let's just throw, I just like to throw $10 on it, right? Throw $10 on Wyatt Langford and Corbin Carroll to hit a home run. All right, let's just start there. And then what I like to do, let's find a couple other guys here, a little bit farther down the lineup. So this, I don't know a ton about baseball, but I will tell you, Christian Walker has got mucho power. So I think he went Oppo last night. So let's get him 2.18, and let's get Nate Lowe. Just a little $10 to win 30, 320. These are I've been okay at these, believe it or not. Ohtani hits a home run every night. So that ends up working out well. Links in the description. Promo code is Rick. You're up to $1,000 match. And the tennis one. Okay. I mean, there's I've been having a lot of fun on Underdog. All right. Yo, Rick, is this a good course fit for Clanton? I'm not positive yet. There's a chance every course is good for him. Look at these numbers. They're eye-popping. I'm going to say it's probably not. It's probably, if it's probably below average for him. I like him at Rocket Mortgage. I like him at, TPC Deer Run. Although Sedgefield is kind of, that can hem you in a little bit. He might be, I hate to say it, for a guy who's got like 6 pro starts. He's not even a pro, but 6 starts on tour. He might be course proof a little bit at this point. Just that's crazy. It's crazy. But these are a lot of different types of courses in which he's found success at. So I'm going to say it's probably not, but not sure it's going to hurt you. Eric Cole's finally going to get his good win. That's right. Hey, Rick, has Sandler picked up the phone and offered you a part in Gilmore 2 yet? No, haven't heard from him. Well, he's always calling me too. What's the deal? How come he hasn't offered me anything yet? Oh, man. I thought he and I were boys. Maverick McNeely finishing top 20. Matt McNeely, great putter, driving it better. This is a guy who will win in the fall. All right, let's go on the record. Chan Kim will win in the fall, and Mav McNeely will win in the fall. I don't feel as strong as when I said like Davis Thompson's going to win soon. That worked out well. McNeely will get a win in his next 15 starts. Saul Hubbard was a late addition to the field. Yeah, he Monday'd in. What a sicko. He missed the deadline to get in, and then he had to Monday qualify. It's a good course for him, right? Accuracy over distance, but I worry about the putter. Maybe he's been able to figure that out in the last 3 weeks. Maybe he went home and got on the sand putt and figured it out, but that's a problem for me. Reevy is a guy that I've added as a low flyer, kind of deeper down the board. I kind of put him in the poor man's JJ Spawn category. He's been a little bit unlucky. His approach numbers have been phenomenal. He's missed his last 2 cuts on the number. So he's gained strokes to the field in 4 straight, but only 2 of them he made the cut. That's kind of unlucky. So I'm not, I don't care about that as much. Can we do a deep dive on Charlie Hoffman? Oh boy. It is that time of year, is it not? It is that time of year. Played well at the Barracuda. This is surprisingly strong. He's gained 5 or more strokes from tee to green in his last 3. Not much before that. Let's look at his Napa history. 2 missed cuts, T22. It might be for you. It's not for me. I won't beat you up over it. There's some guys that I'll beat you up if you want to play them. Gaining 5 or more strokes from tee to green in 3 straight is great, but that was a month ago. Doesn't have a lot of great history here. He is fighting father time. He's now 47. I don't know. Not for me. There's only so much old guy I can play, and I think it goes to Matt Kuchar. Thanks for the breakdown. I spent too much time on your site. No chance. $1,000 match. Time to get the wife an account. You said it. You said it. Not I. Not I. You said it. What were your thoughts on the Creator Classic? Listen, I've beaten up the PGA Tour for not trying anything new. So trying something new, great. Do it. I think it crushed. The numbers on YouTube seemed great. So I think it did a really good thing. I liked it. I think that Wednesdays, and I've said this plenty of times, I think there should always be something on Wednesday. All of the cameras are there. All of the players are there. Do something. The NFL has made their sport a year-long storyline. The PGA Tour has 4 days a week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can add a 5th day for basically nothing. There's nothing on Golf Channel. There's nothing like get some golf on ESPN Plus. All the infrastructure is there. Everything you need is there. A range show. I think the match, I always thought the match should be played King of the Hill style, right? A 9-hole match between 2 guys, have rankings throughout the year. If you beat that guy, you become the King of the Hill, you work your way up, all that stuff. There is so much you can do on Wednesday. So I want them to do anything on Wednesdays. And then you expand to Tuesdays, right? Tuesdays could be that range show. Maybe Tuesday is your range show. Wednesday is some type of match. And then now you're a 6 or 7 day a week thing. Very, very easily and low expense. Who do you think has the most to gain in the fall swing? Which one player do you think will make the biggest jump? I suppose a guy who doesn't have a lot of status winning would be the biggest move a guy could make, right? I don't know what Chan Kim's priority rank is, but if Chan Kim were to win, lock up a card for 2 years, almost be able to play anything. Like those are the guys that have a lot to play for. Neil Shipley, I don't know what his status situation is, right? Ton to play for. These are just names off the top, but like that type of golfer. So if someone to make a big jump, I still think it could be Minwoo. Minwoo leaves a ton on the table. He's so talented. He leaves a ton on the table. He could make a huge, he could legitimately be a top 12 player in the world. Oh boy. Which golfers grew up in California? Like a million of them. Okay. So I have a lot of Henrik Norlander as well. So, shameless plug here. one of the best parts about rickrungood.com is that I have deals with all the tours. So Norlander's been playing. I like this. Norlander played the British Masters. He played the European Masters. So he has been active. He's been rocking. He's been rolling. He's been playing well. Cannot putt to save his life. Cannot putt to save his life. But he has not stopped playing. And he's playing well. So I do like that. Can we get a deep dive on Alex Smalley and Chris Gotterup? Sure. I don't think you're going to like it, but we can look. Gotterup specifically, you might like Alex Smalley a little bit more. Picks up 9 strokes ball striking at the 3M. Misses the cut at the Wyndham. Pretty erratic. Those gains in the ball striking categories have not really stayed, nor were they foreshadowed. So that's all over the place. A little bit disappointing there. Not much to be excited about. And then Chris Gotterup, I'm pretty sure ever since he won the Myrtle Beach event, it has been pretty sour. Yeah, here's the win. Gains across the board, which was kind of out of nowhere as well. Has missed a bunch of cuts, has only finished inside the top 50 once, and it was with his best putting performance ever, or second best. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Is there any way in your database to explain how much more likely the experienced PGA players are to win a DP Tour event like the Irish Open versus DP? Yeah, it would take me a bit to run the numbers, but yeah, I mean, these guys are right. It's baselines. It's strength. You could look at strength of field, who they play against, guys they beat, common opponents, just ways you do it in other sports as well. I'm going to give this about 10 more seconds. Anything you want right now, or we will all go home and go to lunch early, but you got 10 seconds, fire away. While you're thinking about that, I'm going to just refresh the splash contest and see how many people are in it. Yeah, it's going to have an overlay. You should get in this. Like, it's not even halfway full. So I'm going to fire more entries into this because I can max it still. I've got 2 entries left. Pick one out of 6. Pick one golfer from each of 6 tiers. And then the lowest score gets dropped, which is something new that we added. Yeah, there's definitely going to be an overlay there. What's for lunch? Actually, I don't know. I'm kind of in between meals. I already had breakfast. Armina's going to cook for dinner. I think we're doing spaghetti. So I'm kind of stuck in between a little bit. You might have covered Nick Taylor, but I feel like this is the type of Nick Taylor's been basically worse than Max Homa. I mean, except Taylor's fall off goes back to basically Phoenix. It's miserable. Nothing good in sight. I need to see something out of each one. I'd rather play Max Homa than I would Nick Taylor, quite honestly, which is I don't know how brave that is, but it's kind of the state we're at. I need to see something from both of them. All right. RickRunGood.com. Check it out. Hey, same thing. Actually, no, there's not a tournament next week. I don't think. But I think there's a DP event. There's a Live Golf team event, probably a Corn Ferry event. All that'll be on the website. I'll be in Montreal for the President's Cup. So I'll be there all week long, which I'm very much looking forward to. And we'll just continue. I'll be doing stuff from the road. I've got some ideas to kick around. Some good updates coming to the website. All that fun stuff. Okay. Big thanks to everybody. Armina does all the hard work behind the scenes, and she is now going to close down the show. Goodbye.